Hello folks and welcome to today's live OurGame show. Myself Shane Stapleton, as always joined by Michael Verney and star of the Hurler, Tony Kelly. Not Tony Kelly now from Ballier, but a different Tony Kelly from Waterford. You'll know straight away by the accent. Tony, congratulations on the Hurler. And look, first off, can you give us sort of an insight into what it's about? And I'll find an image to throw it up on screen there.
Yeah, absolutely, lads. First of all, thanks for having me. Really appreciate that. So the Hurler is a film based on a web series that I did, nearly over 10 years ago now at this stage, I'd say. It's about a character I play called Campion. He's Ireland's most notorious hurler. And basically, Gar is the first hurler in the history of hurling to fail a drug test for performance-enhancing drugs. And Gar then has to go and basically he decides to try and rebuild his shattered reputation by going and agreeing to coach Ireland's worst hurling team, which is somewhere in the middle of Waterford.
Right, okay. So not Ballygunner anyway is what we're here.
Definitely not Ballygunner. No, definitely not Ballygunner. They're doing okay these days, apparently.
So I'm going to bring up the poster of it here. Look, a slick enough looking poster. The Hurler, a Campions Tale. Tonight is the premiere.
Yeah, the world premiere is tonight in up in the Big Smoke up in Dublin. So when I'm done with you guys here, I'll be heading up the M9 and getting me suit on and all that kind of stuff for the premiere tonight.
Yeah, it's absolutely gas. One of your co-stars, Elva Trill, and you have a fairly stacked lineup there. I used to live with her for a couple of years. Great girl as well. But can you tell us about the lineup that you have? Yeah,
look, beyond anything else, the cast, I'm just absolutely blessed with the cast. You know, you mentioned Elva. I can't believe you used to live with her, and I can't believe I'm only finding this out now. But yeah, Elva is just incredible. As people know, like Elva was in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, last summer, and her credits speak for themselves. But like on an Irish comedy level, John Kenny is there. He plays Gar's kind of father figure and coach. John Kenny of Unbelievables and Father Ted fame, and everything in between, Mario Rosenstock, David McSavage, Carl Spain, God almighty, even, listing them out is incredible. And of course, Marty Morrissey himself makes a cameo, and Daisha hurling legend John Milan as well.
Can I just touch it briefly, Tony? What's your own background? Like, would you have played hurling yourself? Would you be a big hurling fan, or what club are you? That kind of thing. How did this whole idea? What was the genesis of the idea?
Well, I love hurling. First of all, being a proud Daisha man. We strive to break that curse every year and get our hearts broken every year since I was a lad. Anyway, but I unfortunately was not good enough to play myself. I don't think I would have even gotten a game for the Junior B team that Gar goes down to coach. It was that bad, And it's funny because my granduncle, Billy Kelly, down here in Waterford, is basically the godfather of Erin's own hurling club down here. And he used to always be getting on to me because I'm a soccer man myself, it's what I played. And he used to be getting on to me for playing soccer when I was a child, like an actual child, and asking me to come down to Erin's own. And I did, I used to go down. I used to do all the summer camps and all the things that they used to run. But I remember playing one hurling match ever. I think I was 10, and I did actually score a goal, but I scored it with my left foot. So that'll show you what my are actually like.
So how did it gain the traction to go from, like, you talking about a web series before to becoming a film?
I guess, like, when the web series came out in 2013, and it was, I think we kind of underestimate how far the internet has come in 10 years or more. In 2013, like, there was the Instagram was there, but you couldn't upload videos to it. It was very primitive. And I think even at the time, I don't know if Facebook video was a thing. We were uploading stuff to YouTube and putting links up on our Facebook pages. And that's kind of how we were getting people to see things. But I can't remember now, but I think there's over 20,000 views on the episodes of the original web series. I know, like, some of the sports sites, balls.ie and what's now the 42 and all that, were getting behind it because Milan made a cameo in the original pilot as well, and that was kind of gathering a bit of steam. And like, that was 2013, and I'll be honest with you, nothing really happened until 2015. I ended up getting nominated for this award over in Hollywood, which is just ridiculous when you think about it. I got nominated for 2 awards it was called LA Web Fest. They used to call it the the Oscars of web series, and that was legit. Like it was in Universal Studios in Hollywood. You know, that's where the awards session was on. And I went over because I wanted to go on my holidays. That's been straight up. I wanted to go to the theme park, and I wanted to see what LA was like. I'd never really been there before, bar a day trip that I did when I was in San Diego for another film I'd done years ago. And I ended up winning one of the awards. I ended up winning Best Actor in a comedy series for playing Gar. And I remember just being in this room in Hollywood in the Hilton Hotel in Universal Studios and just going, this is mental. I gave this mental speech because I had no idea that I was going to win. I was, I didn't bring my girlfriend at the time even over from Dublin because I never thought I was winning. I ended up bringing my buddy's wife and her friend. They were 2 like 50-year-old women as my dates for the laugh. No, just trying to make a laugh out of it because I was like, there's no way I'm winning this. And then I won the award and gave some mad speech about how Irish people built America, but now we weren't even allowed in. We had to go through a big visa because I think I was bitter about the visa. I think I was bitter about the visa process or something at the time. And, it was just mad. Like, but I remember just going home going, okay, maybe there's something in this. If the Americans are catching on to it, maybe there's something in this guy, in Gar, if nothing else, And I ended up getting sponsored by a local business here in Waterford, Jerry Kennedy Crash Repairs. He kind of sponsored me to make another episode with a bigger budget to see how it would work. And I was talking to some different TV stations and stuff about making a pilot for TV. And they were kind of going, I don't know how well it'll travel or whether it will travel or whether it would have legs. And I went, well, I'll make an episode over in New York and I'll show you that it'll travel. Because I was based in New York for, the bones at nearly 10 years and I went to school over there and stuff. So I ended up making an episode over in New York with a very, look, listen, there wasn't a huge budget, but there was more than I had before because the web series was made with one of them old DV cameras that used to put tapes into and one lav mic. So the second one, we had a bit of budget. I had an experienced few guys on crew and some comedy friends of mine from New York and made this episode. And it really kind of started for me, career-wise, it started, yes, that is a black accent. It really started taking off from there. I started getting I got cast in my first movie as the lead role. From there, someone saw me play Gar and I remember him commenting, we need someone in this script who's able to play an asshole for 60 minutes and then make us care about it. And he's the only person I've seen in Ireland do it. So I ended up getting that movie because of that. And then again, it started getting optioned as a TV series from different production companies and channels, and it kept falling through. And then I was going to make it a movie, and this big production company in Ireland came on board. And again, the finance fell through from Screen Ireland. Then it didn't get financed, and it was just the frustration was just. I think it was around 2018. The frustration just got to me, and I was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do from here.
You must be fair proud of pulling it all together now and having this and the whole build up to it and having a premiere up in Dublin as well. Like, it's unbelievable to take it from the germ of an idea of a web series back in the day to what it is now and what it's going to be. I think it's debuting on the 6th of October.
6th of October in cinemas nationwide. But like the other thing, and I've actually never told this story before, but I'll tell you because it's a hurling podcast and not necessarily film-wise, but like a buddy of mine used to work for the Wayans brothers, who did Scary Movie and White Chicks and all that stuff, right? So a buddy of mine from New York used to work for them in LA. And I happened to be out there again, taking some meetings, as we say in the biz, which is bullshit talk for getting disappointed by fellas in America. And I went over there taking meetings. And one of them was in the Wayans brothers office on the Universal lot with my buddy Jesse Murphy, who used to work for Marlon Wayans. And the Wayans brothers weren't there, but Jesse was there, and I got to see like the office and stuff. It was cool. But what he said to me was, I've showed it to the lads, which is even hilarious. Showed it to the lads, and they love Gar, and they love the idea. And they were interested in taking it on as a series idea, but the idea was going to be different. Like Gar would be the bad guy, and it would be about a basketball player from LA coming to Ireland and playing hurling. And I thought, geez, that's a brilliant idea. But if I do it, I'll lose. It's not mine anymore. Gar won't be mine. And if they just decide to keep it in a drawer forever, that's the end of it. And I just remember I had just signed with my agent over here at the time, and I remember telling her this, and she just said, if these guys think it's a good idea, it's a good idea. You can take a paycheck up front for it now, or you can back yourself and maybe, and I think tonight the maybe finally comes to fruition.
That's gas. That's gas. Like that's gas. What it could have been, but you kind of had do you know what it reminds me a bit of? It reminds me a bit of Sly Stallone at Rocky. Actually, he was kind of the idea was like people wanted to buy the idea or whatever off him, but he couldn't be the lead actor or whatever, and he kind of backed himself. Look what that turned into. Who knows what the Hurler might turn into?
Yeah, look, for me, the achievement is tonight walking a red carpet with Elva, with John Kenny, with the lads, just celebrating the achievement. And then obviously the massive achievement is next Friday when it's released in cinemas nationwide. That to me is the achievement. Anything beyond this is a bonus,
Sorry, I thought Shane was going to come in there. Yeah. Give me some of your hurling background, apart from being related to the Godfather and Aaron's Own. Like, where did the passion to put like hurling into a film come from?
So, like, I've always loved watching hurling. I genuinely think it's the greatest sport in the world, and this is coming from someone who's a Blues season ticket holder here in Waterford and a Liverpool FC season ticket holder over in Anfield. Like, I genuinely still think hurling is the greatest sport in the world. I've always thought so. I sold cars to pay to go to film school. When I left De La Salle College here in Waterford, and by the way, De La Salle College is a great hurling school as well, Harty Cup and all that kind of stuff. I sold cars, and I ended up working with a lot of the Waterford hurlers, whether it be through car sales itself or through finance reps and stuff like that. Like, so I knew Micheál White very well. Micheál worked with me, and Dave Bennett was a rep at the time, and David being an out. Henry Shefflin was a rep at the time, and Henry being an out. Like, so I knew the lads, and I'd see the lads doing ads in the cinema. Like, Henry was in an ad in the cinema one time when I went, and then the next day I saw him in work, and I was going like, if this was any other country in the world, these lads would be living in mansions with swimming pools, and why aren't they? Yeah, I still to this day can't understand how these unbelievable athletes, world-class athletes, aren't multimillionaires. I just don't understand. And that was the Germany idea for me. I was like, what if one of these lads wasn't necessarily as sound as they were? What if they allowed their ego to absolutely run away with themselves and was on the cover of magazines and was dressing himself in the top fashion labels and was going out with one of the top models and was walking red carpets? And what if this was his thing, but then he had to go to work the next day as well? How would an ego handle that? And I thought, as a comedic idea, that was, a premium comedic idea, to be honest with you.
And like, putting together the cast, how did that happen? Or is it something where you approached them, or someone else involved with the movie did? What happened?
It was kind of a team effort, really. I knew a lot of the lads, whether it be through comedy or whatever. And then my agent is Lorraine Brennan at LBM. She was wonderful as well, because whoever I didn't know or didn't have access to, Lorraine did and approached on my behalf. Like, in fairness to her, like, she's a wonderful agent. She's a very busy person. But I remember showing her the script when I originally wrote it in 2018. And she's been behind it ever since, in fairness to her. Never kind of dissuaded me from doing it. Never said this will never happen, but just constantly kind of supported and lended a bit of a hand. And again, like, she was the one who got John on board, and John got Marty on board. And, it really was a team effort.
It's a bit of a GA job, like in many ways. Like, there's a lot, probably, like, that's the GA, people calling in favors and bringing someone along, and all of a sudden all these names end up in a film together about hurling.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's a grassroots film, really. The people of Waterford wanted to see a film made in Waterford, because I think a lot of us are sick of being passed over down here, whether it be for funding for the arts or funding for infrastructure or anything. We're really sick of that. Like, I don't know if people know this or not, like, but the cath lab here in Waterford Hospital closes at 5:30 in the day. So if you have a heart attack here in Waterford, you have to get an ambulance to Cork Hospital. So, like, there's a lot of discontent about stuff in Waterford. So when I think the community down here found out that I was making this movie, and I was making it and insisting on making it here, everyone got behind it. So local businesses, just the people of Waterford, hotels, restaurants, you name it, all got behind it. And it was kind of the same with the cast. When they kind of, like, I cast a lot of people who I'd worked with before, or I wanted to work with that I was friends with, because I wanted that to be the feel of the whole thing anyway. And then I think once the bigger names like John and, other people found out, John Kenny, like David McSavage, Carl Spain, even Mario Rosenstock, once they found out the journey it took to get here. And I guess they liked the script as well. They all wanted to do whatever they could to help, and did,
Let's call a spade though. Is this film about Milan if he lost the run of himself?
Jesus, no. Like, I've never seen Milan dress himself. So, like, it couldn't possibly be about Milan. Like, Milan comes in with a pair of jeans and a top on him. Gar wouldn't be caught dead in something like that. You know what I mean? And by the way, I'm just reading the comments here. It's like hearing John Milan's voice in someone else's body. John Milan has a way more high-pitched voice than I do. I have a baritone voice. Milan is up here, like, you know what I mean?
And, like, where do you see it going from here? And I know it's only just premiering tonight and it's going to go out to the country in a couple of weeks. But, like, is this one of those things where you're like, okay, I've the film done and that's that topic exhausted? Or are you like, we can do another one, or I can do it on another sport? Or what are you thinking?
I've been playing Gar for 10 years now, or nearly 11 years. In the web series, it was a play. I've actually done him for some sporting websites and stuff. I've played him as a real person, like Sacha Baron Cohen does. I've done that. So he's really an alter ego. So I don't see this as the end of Gar once it comes out next Friday. I think it's kind of only the beginning of the next phase of this character. Like, I've always described him as my Alan Partridge, if you like. So, I think maybe, I'd love to do a TV series after this, maybe, if we could make that happen. So, we'll see.
Brilliant. And what sort of where's the after party tonight? I can't make the premiere now. Elva did offer me tickets, but I've training tonight. Where's the after party?
What I love about that is, like, you made sure to let everyone know that you're important enough to be and that we are not important enough for you to miss training for. I love that.
That's a good DA, man.
Oh, listen, I know exactly what's going on here. Don't worry about that. But it's look, we're having the premiere tonight in the Odeon at Point Square, and we will be going to some bar, I'm sure, around there as the after party afterwards.
Top secret. Michael, that now?
Not top secret, really, but just like, there's a couple of, I'm sure, like, judging by the comments, that there's a few people here who are less than desirable, and we probably don't want them rocking up.
Including me and Shane, to be honest with you. Sean O'Sullivan, who's down from your neck of the woods, said be more Dan style than Milan's. Yeah, Big Dan now would be a good man for. It's kind of, they might add, I'd say there's a mix of a couple of different people thrown together here, to be honest with you.
Well, look, there's no secret. I mean, look, you have to take your influence from somewhere. You have to realize that I came up with the character, I think, in 2011, so he's probably not based on anyone who's around nowadays, and, like, as I said to you, like, I grew up here. I saw Harty Cup players get influence in school when we were only 16 or 17. I saw inter-county hurlers get influence in nightclubs, when I saw inter-county hurlers get influence in workplaces. And I'll be honest with you, I loved it. I loved the whole what would you call it? Just the world of it all. And I suppose a bit of me kind of always wished I was in the world, you know what I mean? So I had to make it up myself to be involved, Well,
look, brilliant stuff. Do you have anything else to ask, Michael?
No, all good, Tony. Looking forward to seeing it now, to be honest with you. The trailer that I saw, which we'll put up on our X stream, was fairly X-rated now, to be honest with you. So it definitely.
Well, there's a PG. There's a PG. Well, I wouldn't say X-rated because that insinuates sexual intercourse and stuff like that. There's nothing. There's a few F words in it, Michael. You need to calm down. That's all it is, like. But we have a more family-friendly trailer now, which you should have as well. There's a cinematic trailer now as well. I have to say, actually, that X-rated trailer only got rated 15s for the cinemas. So You know, it's only a 15s trailer, Michael. Calm down.
Well, now the only thing I'll say, Tony, is I was just trying to make sure some people want to see certain things in films. I was just leaving it open-ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they definitely won't be seeing anything like me with me top off or anything like that. Shorts is the most you're going to get, unfortunately.
Well, look, really best to luck with it, Tony, and I hope the premiere goes great tonight. And
Thanks a bit. Listen, lads, I really appreciate you having me. Like, I really do. It's next Friday. It's out in the cinemas nationwide, Friday the 6th of October. And I'm just before we go, I'm reading the comments here when I can, like, and I'm seeing someone saying what hurlers are good actors. And you'll see yourself, like Marty Morrissey's not a hurler, but he's absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant as an actor, and I mean that. And John Milan puts in a brilliant performance as well. So there's two, at least GAA personalities who are great actors. P-Well74.
So look, brilliant stuff. Tony, thanks very much for joining us.
Lads, thanks a million.
Cheers, Tony. Best of luck.